I blocked my husband for just 4 days because I wanted peace, but when I came home, the house was empty, his clothes were gone, and divorce papers were waiting on the table. The first thing I did after boarding the plane was block my husband. Not because I hated him. Not because I wanted a divorce. I simply wanted peace. For the first time in years, I wanted 4 days without hearing my phone ring, without answering questions, without dealing with another argument about things that never seemed important to me. I thought 4 days of silence would make me feel better. I had no idea those 4 days would change my entire marriage. My name is Claire, and I had been married to Daniel for almost 9 years. Daniel was the kind of husband people described as dependable. He remembered birthdays. He paid bills on time. He brought medicine when I was sick. He never forgot our anniversary. And whenever I came home exhausted, he was usually waiting with dinner. But somewhere along the way, I stopped noticing those things. I started noticing only what annoyed me. He asked too many questions. He wanted to know where I was. He wanted to talk when I wanted to sleep. He worried when I traveled. And sometimes, I convinced myself that his concern was control. One evening, after another stressful week at work, Daniel asked me, "Claire, are you okay? You seem distant lately." I sighed. "I'm tired, Daniel." "I know. I just want to help." "I don't need help." He became quiet. Then he said softly, "I'm your husband. You don't have to handle everything alone." Instead of appreciating his words, I became angry. "I just need some space." He stared at me for a few seconds. Then he nodded. "Okay." That was all he said. A few days later, I booked a short vacation with 2 friends. I didn't tell Daniel much about it. When he asked when my flight was, I answered, "Friday morning." "Do you want me to drive you to the airport?" "No. I'll take a taxi." He looked disappointed. "Okay." That night, he left a small note beside my suitcase. "Have a safe trip. Enjoy yourself. Call me when you feel ready. I love you." I read it. Then I put it inside a drawer. I didn't even reply. On Friday morning, I left without saying goodbye properly. At the airport, my phone started ringing. "Daniel." I declined the call. Then he called again. And again. I became irritated. I opened his messages. "Did you get to the airport? Please let me know you're safe. I'm sorry if I upset you." I stared at the screen. Then, without thinking about the consequences, I blocked his number. Finally, I whispered. For the first time in months, my phone was silent. I thought I had one. The vacation was beautiful. We stayed near the ocean. We laughed. We ate at expensive restaurants. We took pictures. For the first 2 days, I felt free. Then something strange happened. I started missing him. At dinner, I remembered how Daniel always stole food from my plate. At the beach, I remembered how he hated the sun but always stayed outside because I loved it. One evening, my friend asked, "Why do you look sad?" "I don't." "You've checked your phone 10 times. I looked away. "I just wonder what Daniel is doing." She smiled. "You blocked him." "I know." "Then why are you worried?" I didn't have an answer. On the 3rd day, I finally admitted something to myself. I hadn't wanted freedom from Daniel. I had wanted freedom from my own frustration. And I had confused the two. I considered unblocking him. But pride stopped me. I told myself, "He'll understand." I was wrong. When I returned home 4 days later, I expected to find Daniel waiting. Maybe he would be angry. Maybe he would demand an explanation. Maybe he would simply hug me. I unlocked the front door. "Daniel?" No answer. I walked inside. The house felt strangely cold. His shoes were gone. His jacket was gone. The coffee mug he always used wasn't on the kitchen counter. I walked upstairs. His clothes were missing from the closet. My heart started beating faster. Daniel? Then I noticed an envelope on the dining table. My name was written on it. My hands began to shake. I opened it. Inside were divorce papers. For several seconds, I couldn't breathe. Underneath them was a handwritten letter. I sat down and began reading. Claire. I hope you had a peaceful vacation. I didn't leave because I stopped loving you. I left because I finally understood that you wanted peace from me, and I was becoming the person disturbing it. My eyes filled with tears. I continued. When you blocked me, I realized something. If my presence in your life had become something you needed to escape from, then loving you meant giving you the space you asked for. I could have called your friends. I could have shown up at the airport. I could have demanded an explanation. But I didn't. Because love isn't supposed to feel like a prison. I covered my mouth. Then I read the final paragraph. I'm not asking you to come back. I'm not asking you to choose me. I only hope that someday, when you think about our marriage, you remember that I loved you even when you didn't know how to receive it. I broke down. Daniel wasn't punishing me. He wasn't trying to make me jealous. He wasn't seeing another woman. He had simply accepted the boundary I had created. And suddenly, I remembered every little thing I had ignored. The umbrella he held over me in the rain. The soup he made when I was sick. The time he drove 3 hours because I forgot my laptop at my parents' house. The mornings he woke early to make my coffee. The nights he stayed awake until I came home safely. I had called those things ordinary. But they weren't ordinary. They were love. I grabbed my phone and unblocked him. Then I called. Straight to voicemail. I called again. Nothing. I sent a message. Daniel, please talk to me. No response. I went to the place where he had been staying temporarily. His brother opened the door. When he saw me, his expression changed. Claire. Where is Daniel? He sighed. He left yesterday. Where? He said he needed to think. I started crying. Please tell him I'm sorry. His brother looked at me quietly. You should tell him yourself. Will he come back? I don't know. Those words broke me more than anything else. For the next 2 weeks, I learned what loneliness actually felt like. Not the peaceful loneliness I had imagined on vacation. The painful kind. The kind where you reach for someone out of habit and remember they're gone. One evening, I found Daniel's old notebook. Inside were little plans he had written. Claire's birthday surprise dinner. Fix kitchen cabinet. Book weekend trip for anniversary. Then I found one line that made me cry. I want Claire to feel loved, even when she doesn't say she needs it. I realized then that Daniel had never stopped trying. I had stopped seeing it. 3 weeks after I returned, Daniel finally agreed to meet me. We sat across from each other at a quiet cafe. He looked tired. I looked at him and whispered, I'm sorry. He didn't respond immediately. For what? For blocking you. He nodded. And? For making you feel like loving me was a burden. His eyes softened. I never wanted to control you, Claire. I know that now. I only wanted to be your husband. I reached across the table. I was so focused on what you were doing wrong that I forgot everything you were doing right. He looked down. I loved you for years. I know. But I don't want to be loved only after someone realizes what they lost. I cried. I understand. For the first time, I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I didn't ask him to forget everything. I simply listened. Daniel eventually said, "I don't know if we can fix this." I nodded through my tears. "Then let me earn the chance." He looked at me. "How?" "Not by promising you everything will be perfect. Just by learning to appreciate you again." There was a long silence. Then he smiled sadly. "You finally listened." I smiled through my tears. Yes. Our marriage wasn't magically repaired that day. We had difficult conversations. We went to counseling. We learned how to communicate without attacking each other. And slowly, carefully, we began rebuilding what we had almost destroyed. Months later, Daniel came home with groceries. I was cooking dinner. He walked into the kitchen and kissed my forehead. "Need help?" I smiled. "Yes." He rolled up his sleeves. "Okay." And that simple moment felt more romantic than any expensive vacation. Because I finally understood something. Sometimes we don't lose people because they stop loving us. Sometimes we lose them because we stop valuing the love they have been giving us. I had blocked my husband because I wanted 4 peaceful days. Instead, I came home to an empty house and divorce papers. And those papers taught me the hardest lesson of my life. Never mistake someone's patience for permission to hurt them. And never wait until someone's absence to appreciate their presence. Because sometimes, the person you push away isn't leaving because they stopped loving you. They're leaving because they finally learned to love themselves too. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment and subscribe to our channel for more emotional love stories.